What is up, friends? Welcome to Watch Your Work. It is me, Kevin, for the time being. As we have teased kind of all day, are going to have some friends to join us. But welcome to an eventful day of WNBA Top Shot. I had every intention in the world to make this a pregame show all about Sun and Aces, what was going to happen in game two. Were the Aces just going to steamroll this time around? Did the Sun give up their one and only chance to win the series by just deciding not to score the basket in the second half? Or what else was going to happen tonight? But as it happens throughout all of our experience with Top Shot in this whole space, whole bunch of news comes up, and for once, I think that this is news to be hyped about. Like, I am super excited. This is going to be a great experience, and I'm excited we have folks here to join us. So let's get it going. Gurjat, a long time ago, became a YouTube member, so thank you so much, Gurjat. ATCJ, glad to have you here. He's already taking care of the game recognized game set. Congratulations. That's a lot of work to put in during the day after the set was released, especially with all the challenges that are already up for that. We got Blaze, Smokey the Bear, 99, Garen, Milo Goes to College. Welcome, folks. Happy to have you here. Happy to get this show going. And I cannot tell you how happy I am that at the last second this morning, I took this from a half-hour pregame show and bumped it to a full hour. Because, oh my gosh, is there so much to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's tear the veil off of this, bring up the curtain, because we have special guests tonight. WNBA Top Shot announced who their team captains are for their best of set and collection. And hello, Soul Bro. And we have those team captains here in the building, in the little YouTube box screen. And I couldn't be more excited for it. So welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jude. Jen, welcome back to the show. Jude, we're glad you're here for the first time. How are y'all doing?
Doing all right.
It's been a crazy day, but we're glad to be here with you and to be able to talk to your community.
Yeah, we were saying this prior to everything starting. I could not imagine what wild a day that you could have possibly had. Not only was it Discord notifications, not only was it Twitter notifications, I'm sure there were other platforms where just the wildness was happening kind of all over the place. But kind of just, if we want to start, just talk us through what today has been like for you. The announcement happened. How early did you kind of know about it? How wild has it been kind of since? What has today been like?
Yeah, so I think for me and probably for Jen, I won't speak for her, but I think it started about 5 days ago. There was an outreach in which they indicated that I was chosen to be one of the two captains. I was, of course, thrilled. I immediately asked who my partner would be, and they said, you can probably guess. And as I told Jen, I didn't want to guess because I wanted it to be her. But if I'd guessed it was her, and they said, "Oh, it's so and so," then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that person's great too." So they said Jen, and so I said that's outstanding because I think I've emphasized to everyone, Jen included, I really like this mix, right? Which is like, as somebody said on Discord today, Jen is original, right? She's been a W advocate from the jump. That's why she's been on your show. I'm the new guy on the block, right? I just came around. I started my Top Shots account last December as a way to kind of have something to talk to my nephew about, and because he was super into the 76ers, and I kind of wanted to learn more about the whole NBA thing, and actually ended up getting hooked on the W instead. So Jen's West Coast, I'm East Coast, male, female. There's a lot of different ways to break this down. And I think we're a great complement for each other. So I'm just really excited to get going.
Yeah. Super cool to give the hat tip to Jen, because that is deserved. I mean, who else has really organized in the community so far, as Jen getting folks to a suite in a storm game. I mean, both of y'all very deserving. I mean, Jude, what you've done in community wise on Discord, at least from everything that I've seen, both of y'all are so deserving of this. But Jen, what has this been like for you in the last 4 or 5 days?
I definitely kudos to Jude. I like going first thing in the morning to see what he's posted in the Discord for all the information, even myself. I mean, I know it's hard that there's so many people and only two. I would have loved to see a committee, and that's something that we're gonna try to utilize a lot of other amazing people because being in charge of the entire set and across 12 cities, basically, like we're going to need local help too. If we're trying to pull off anything in terms of an event, like say in DC or in Phoenix, we don't know the area, good places to go or things like that. So, looking forward to work with a lot of people, and we want to make sure that this is a community thing. We're just more in charge of the grant and trying to make sure that we bring the community together. So it's not just us dictating everything too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my phone has been blown up today, and I think my excitement was like, what do we do? How do we get this set up? And I set up a Twitter account and was like, do I start following people like on Top Shot? Is this legal right now? Like, am I supposed to have this? And so we do have a Twitter account. It's WNBA Best of 2021. We have a Top Shot account too. That we'll be using for the Dapper funds, for giveaways, for things like that. And so that was a lot of the setup process that we were just trying to make sure we had everything ready to go more for the announcement. So to make it feel like legit for the community. So it's all there at this point. Channels went live and I think people were getting antsy. And so yeah, we're going from there.
People are getting antsy. How many when are we getting PAX messages have you all received?
I don't even know. I lost count. They're like, you're gonna buy every Best of 21 pack, and I'm like, I'd love to, but there's also some restrictions. Like we're not everything, and
yeah, I think 36 seconds after we were announced, somebody said, do you have control of the Asia packs? When can we release them? Are we going to burn them? I love the enthusiasm. I absolutely love it. And as Jen said, it's going to take a village. I worked for a guy, whenever we would go to an unfamiliar area, he called them local Sherpas, right? We're going to need Sherpas in all of our W cities to help us out because we cannot be in 12 places at once. So we are definitely going to be relying heavily on our community experts to guide us through and to help make these events a success to the extent that we do in real life stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think if whatever you're doing to sort of lean in forward from the start about making this community and looping as many other folks in. I don't envy in a lot of ways the job that y'all have. Working in higher ed, in a past life, also being sort of a manager of grant funds and that kind of program. I know what being a person who's like the steward of those grant funds is like, and I know kind of a lot of that work that y'all have to go into it with that. So Godspeed for tuning out all of the when can we get packs and when am I getting my Asia set noise there. But that's really great that like I said, you're leaning in that community side. There's about I checked sometime on this afternoon on OTM, and there's in the ballpark of like 2,000 people who have completed a best of set, kind of all 56 of those moments. As you were, kind of in the talking stages, maybe with Dapper employees or just between yourselves of, really what do you envision this community to look like size wise? Do you anticipate this being like the full 2,000 and that's what you're trying to scale for immediately? Are you trying to sort of like we'll take some smaller steps in maybe local areas of the WNBA world. What, without revealing all of your hand and pinning you down for something, what are some of the ways that you're leading with that so far?
Jen, you want to start us off on that?
I mean, we've been tossing around kind of two different ideas. I mean, number one, we're heading into the off season, right? I mean, I know we got the finals tonight and the finals on Thursday, right? But we're heading into the off season. So there is definitely that. How do we keep the community engaged during the off season and get them excited, and with giveaways and just in general, that kind of community buildup, and to get to know each other. I mean, I know we've had the Talking W channel, but, you know, to have kind of our own channel just for these set holders, I think you're going to find a lot more potentially true W fans, and, you know, grow that basis and make a lot more friends. And I think that will help. And so that will help us. What we want to do is lead into coming up with some IRL events in different cities. And we don't also want to exclude anyone that can't travel or that's internationally as well. So we're trying to think of outside the box ideas. And, you know, a lot of what we've also been doing the last couple of days is, as we've been signing on, is what, even with Dapper, what can and can't we do? What do we have access to? How much do things cost? So we can budget accordingly. And, you know, like, we know last year there was some Zooms. We would love to do that again, but we also know it's a player appearance, and that's, you know, just as potentially money too, right? So we're trying to, and that's why we have also a Spaces tomorrow night or Thursday night at 5:30 Pacific, so half hour before Game 3, to start getting ideas from the community as well too. Because like we said, there's only 2 of us, but if there's even, you know, yes, there's 2,000 people that have completed the set, but we know there's a few hundred active users. We want them to be involved. We want them, this is their set, this is their grant just as much, to get their opinion on what they want to see. And we'll do our best to plan accordingly, and try to give as best access to everybody as we can. And so some of it, like I said, maybe giveaways, it might be a ticket, it might be something. We're not quite sure yet. So we're still in the early stages of just trying to gather data. We know we have good roadmaps from between NLL and the other team captains that have already started a lot of events. And I'm good friends with the Rip Pack Cities guys, so I know some of their, you know, troubles and their successes. So just trying to learn from them. And I know it's already a great, like, team captain community. So, but at the same time, also knowing the W is very different and we want to be different. So trying to kind of balance all of that at once, it's a lot. And that's why it's still in the early stages of planning. And it'll take us a little bit to get ramped, but I know that once we get going, it's going to be good.
For sure.
Yeah. Jen's heard me say this a couple of times in the last couple of days, but I truly believe that the Best of 2021 set is the crown jewel, the 9 Lives Lounge of the W side. You know, 56 moments, all Top Shot debuts, real stars, people. I mean, obviously people that are retiring here soon, but also people that are carrying on and could have great utility in the future. The fact that you could get it for $331 this morning seems like an absolute steal to all of us. And so what I like to do is kind of raise all boats, which is get more people involved in this set and also increase the value of the set for the current set holders. And so, you know, to build excitement and enthusiasm around it in the way that we can and get people into that channel and make that channel a place where people say, you know what, I got to put down the money because I want to be a part of what they're doing. And that's what we're hoping for. But as Jen says, you know, since we're basically 12 hours into this job, you know, we don't have a fully fleshed out anything. And in fact, I think I see that as a strength, which is, you know, we're going to use, as Jen mentioned, the Spaces, and we're going to use the channel to kind of get feedback from people about prioritization, because what do people want? You know, what do people value over other things? You know, some people want a signed jersey or whatever. Some people want tickets to a game. Some people want moments in their accounts. They want to do more giveaways. You know, all those things are possible, but we should probably prioritize them because we don't have an unlimited amount of money. We have $120,000, and it's not like it's dropped all at once, right? It's parceled out. So we're going to start showing Dapper and Top Shot too that, we're building this community, we're fostering this engagement, we're getting people excited, and that's going to lead to things like them releasing packs to us. So it's a little bit of show me what you can do, and not say, I have all these words, but I have no actions to back them up.
Right. That's great. You all are throwing around a lot that I'm like trying to mentally bookmark right now. Because Jude, you saying prioritization, that's a pretty big buzzword in the WNBA at this moment. That's been a hot topic. Completely
for other reasons. For other reasons.
different reasons. That
Jen
would be
got
great.
The supermax salary of $0 from Dapper for this captaincy.
Yes, so we want to make sure that's clear. We are volunteers. We are not paid Dapper employees. It's 100% volunteer.
I would love you to throw something like in the WNBA CBA of like, if you're not in the best of set by March 1st, like you're out of it. You can't be a part of it. All. Done. No, not happening. FYI, not happening. I see in the chat that JP and Chris are having some kind of spat. But Deep Thread is asking the big question. When are we going to make Watch Your Work the official channel of the W? I think I don't know that anyone has had you on video yet, 12 hours into your job. So I feel like we have the in right there. And we're already getting WNBA FOMO. We have like just over a half hour until game 2. And I promise we'll talk about the game at some point. This is just exciting news for me, and I'm really really happy for y'all. And I mean, as Deep Threat says, like getting letting them meet Kelsey Plum. The meetups for the W players so far this season have been pretty extraordinary. So like, why not? Like, why not dream big, Deep Threat? Dream big.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think it was Jen's dream to meet Sue Bird, and she got that done. So
literally made it happen.
Yeah. I gotta say, that was actually Dapper. That wasn't me. I just was like, we're going, this is what's happening. What can you pull off?
Well, you built a stadium in the middle of a cornfield, and then Dad showed up. So.
That's the story of Climate Pledge Arena. I had no idea. That's amazing.
That's true. I mean, they did gut it and rebuild it. So, got to start over somehow.
And as watching the playoffs, like people did come. So like that people showed up big time. Jen, we've had you like on before, and I just appreciate your brain in terms of just like basketball history, Subert history, being a part of the Connecticut kind of basketball world and the West Coast kind of basketball world. I know a little bit of kind of your fan story. And Jude, you mentioned just briefly kind of like what yours has been, your journey on Dapper. Jen, real quick for anyone who didn't watch our last show, and if you didn't, shame on you. Come on, it's back it's back on the YouTube page. But real quick, what's your kind of like WNBA fan story, and then we can get Jude to kind of tell his.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I was born and raised in Connecticut, and then I moved out west about almost 6 years ago. So yes, I have watched Sue Bird literally her entire career, and I remember when the W kind of started and was just super excited about it. And then I think just as I got older in college and high school and life, because being in the summer fell out. But really ever since I moved back out here, really started to fall really back in love with it again, and started going games in 2018. And then I think just like everybody else with the pandemic was like glued to every single game, watching the wobble. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these players, I mean, I'll watch all of the NCAA women's. I love good basketball. Like, I'm excited. There's a big tournament here in Portland over Thanksgiving break, and trying to, there's 8 women's teams coming, and yes, UConn is one of them. But just trying to see a lot of good basketball. Men's side too. So yeah, that's kind of my story, and that's really what got me into Top Shot. I knew of it. I kind of watched the NBA, but when I heard the W was launching, I was like, I'm in. I think this is amazing. I'm all in, and I apparently mean that in more ways than one. That's where we've gotten to.
Your money, your time, your everything.
My money, my time. I mean, I know someone said today they completed GRG, and I was like, yep, I did too. And I told myself, like, don't go after it. And somehow within I don't know what happened, and we were done. And I was like, yay and crap all at the same time.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Isn't it great to have kind of those like blackout bind sprays on Top Shot, and all of a sudden you have a set complete? That's great. Yeah. Jude, what's your story?
So I followed, Notre Dame women's basketball, and followed because I'm an alum of Notre Dame, and followed the players into the WNBA, and would keep kind of tabs on who was in the league and how they were doing. But I didn't really have a team because I don't live where I live. It's kind of equidistant from Connecticut, Washington, and New York, so I didn't really have a team that I followed per se. So I was telling Jen this story, and this makes me sound like an idiot, but I tell it anyways. I started collecting the best of 2021 set. I just wasn't familiar with all 56 players. And so I actually purchased two Tia Coopers when I thought I needed a Cooper and a Copper. There was a Kalia Copper, and
Right.
it wasn't paying close enough attention. So I was struggling to sort of understand the players. And then when they would switch teams based off of where I thought they would be based on the best of 2021 set, that got a little confusing for me at first. But what really helped was getting the league pass. One of the great things that Top Shot did was offer a league pass to its set holders. And with that league pass, I was starting to watch games. I was starting to understand the teams, the dynamics, the rivalries, the coaching personalities, a lot more. And this has been the season I've paid a lot more attention to, not just the core maybe group of 6 or 9 players from Notre Dame, but really teams, and having a team, picking an allegiance and trying to follow that team, and then also finding the excitement of the playoffs. And I went to a Connecticut Sun this game this year, and I would be absolutely thrilled if they won it all, because I would love to say that I was there in their championship season.
That's incredible. I love that story, and I'm going to get back to it because I want to talk about your story. But first, Garen knows how to push my Nebraska buttons because we're both from Nebraska. And
There you go. Thank you.
Notre Dame, you're welcome for Nebraska
Appreciate that.
transfer. Jessica Shepard, current Minnesota Lynx player. I had to bring that up. Okay, now we're coming back to the present. There we go. But I think what your story is so much of what the WNBA Top Shot experience is. It is a blend of the lifelong fans like Jen. It's the blend of the people who are brand new to it. And isn't it great that we have a space where we can sort of exist on an equal plane and just enjoy the game and celebrate the players? That's super cool. I remember when that first WNBA Run It Back set came out, and the Team Hold Discord was so full of people who were like, okay, I pulled Tamika Catchings. Is she good? I pulled Elena Deladon. Is she good? And in the moment, I was very close to having an aneurysm and screaming in my car as I'm reading like my notifications. But as we start to like sit down more and engage more with the W, folks recognize like, oh my gosh, they have game. Oh my gosh, this is incredible to watch. And when we would set in the Discord and watch Vandersloot go off in the playoffs last season, or watch any of those games that happened, it really blew up, and it really just sort of like, I think, united just kind of a community around like, hey, I think we're all in on the WNBA now. And it was cool to do that because I'm somewhere between y'all. I watched the W in his first season, kind of fell off a little bit, got back into it in kind of the early 2010s, and had been a fan since. So not quite as lifelong as Jen, but not quite as new. But it's so cool to sort of have kind of that bridge between all that. So thank you all just so much for your time on this. And I'm so excited about that, but I also want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to start to dig into like game recognized game and like tonight's actual finals in real life basketball game. Can you guys hang? Do you need to bounce? I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, let's go. Let's talk about, because we had this drop today and I'm just excited to get into it. But first, I think we have a pretty good crowd tonight. So why don't we give away a moment? We have, and I'm going to bring in the inside joke that I have with Mike Zakarian, also a member of Team Hold. He called the last time I was on his show, Sun to win the last round of the playoffs in 3. And once they lost a game, he messaged me to say it's going to be Sun in 3+1. So this is our hashtag for tonight. You can win a Dewana Bonner 8K moment if you put that in the chat. So start throwing those in there. while we're waiting for kind of that, I know I can't believe we still let him in either, Steve. It's wild to me. While we let folks kind of start to throw that in the chat, tell me about like what you're looking forward to in tonight's game 2 for the finals.
I feel like offense. I mean, after
Please.
I score in the 60s is obviously what neither team is really can achieve. There was a lot of missed opportunities on both sides. So I have a feeling tonight is going to just be like all offense. Vegas has got the home crowd on the sides. I know it's sold out tonight. And apparently they've got Lil Jon performing at halftime.
Stop it. Seriously?
Yeah. So it's gonna be lit, literally and figuratively, apparently, tonight. So I really think offensive minded. I mean, I know some people talk about Kelsey going off. I can see Dewana getting mad. I think the one thing is just making sure they don't get into too much foul trouble, more than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be light up city in a lot of ways.
I really enjoyed just watching Chelsea Gray this entire playoff run. I feel like anytime she's got the ball in her hands, it just becomes 1.2 times more interesting than any other possession. I've loved watching the banging around that's going on in the paint. Both those teams live totally in the paint. That's where they get a lot of their points. And Alyssa Thomas isn't afraid of anyone. Jonquel Jones isn't afraid of anyone. Jonquel Jones.
Oh my gosh! Did you see that press conference? Oh, I was ready to pull my hair out.
It's so funny because as I used to be a reporter, and I've definitely lived that horror show where you mispronounce somebody's name. And, part of you is like, you should have been prepared for this moment. You were going to ask the reigning, until yesterday, the reigning MVP, a question. You should know how to pronounce her first name. But good for her.
But also she's in the State Farm commercial that everyone has seen a million times.
Yeah.
Everyone has heard thanks, Jonquel.
Oh. I feel like my name is pretty like easy to understand. Like there's a popular Beatles song. I still get called Judd. But I got called Juddy one time. I've gotten weird kinds of things, so I get people, protecting their name. But I also felt like that if I were that reporter, I probably wanted to crawl onto the biggest hole ever and just continue to die. So
yeah, you gotta like balance the, drag them appropriately and still sort of like have some empathy for like, oh yeah, I've gotten someone's name wrong before. Jude, you brought up a good point too of Alyssa Thomas isn't afraid of anybody. I am still just deathly afraid. Like when she smiled guarding like Chelsea Gray in that last possession, like I know that's complete just like hype mode. That is like that is what you want out of like your defender. It also struck me as like, oh my gosh, is Alyssa Thomas like the Joker and no one told us? Like that is a level of just like intensity and like looking straight into like a level of danger that I can't comprehend and just like smiling and laughing at it. Oh my God, that's terrifying. I like got a lot of respect, but also so much more terror for like what Alyssa Thomas is capable of out there on the basketball court. So completely. And we got lots of takes for Jonquel is gonna go off tonight. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I really like what Jonquel said to, I think maybe it was Holly Rowe during the last series. She said, look, I respect the hell out of Candace Parker, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't try to beat her,
Absolutely.
And so that's the way that I earn respect in this league is playing my best. And that's how I earn Candace's respect. And that's all, and that's what she wants. Right. So, I feel the same exact way, which is, she knows that who she's going up against. And Asia Wilson is just, she's all around complete. It's just so much fun to watch.
It's completely the contrasting styles is just such a captivating thing for me. Whereas, I was hoping for, a game at least in the 80s. And so even when we got a game in the 60s, there was still something was compelling about it for me. And I still really enjoyed that. So I think y'all are absolutely absolutely right with that. Is anyone prepared, before we get into like kind of diving into the game, recognized game, is anyone prepared to make a prediction for tonight of who's going to win?
I told Jen this was coming.
He's like, what do you think the score's gonna be? I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be in the 80s. I don't see it still being in the 90s. I think, number one, both are good defenses. At the same time, you also can't forget that it's also a coach's duel. I know they talked about this. I don't know how many people caught this, but Becky played for Kurt at Colorado State.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going, Kurt even said he wouldn't be a coach if it wasn't for Becky Hammon. So, there is that coaching duel chess match that's going on just as much as there is inside inside the paint. So that's why I'm like, they're both going to make adjustments. And I don't know. Like you want them to maybe score a lot of points, and I think it's going to light it up, but I know the defenses and the coaches are going to step it up too. So I'm going to say in the 80s, I would love for the Sun to extend the series, like you said, bring in +1. I don't want to see a sweep. So I would love, because they were showing stats that no team, going down 1, okay, but no team so far has gone down 2 and won the series. So this really is a make or break a game for the Sun, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm also rooting for all the people that work so hard to get in the top 5 of those leaderboards, for the Sun and Aces leaderboards, to get their game 4. So I'm rooting for a Sun win right tonight, because we'll give them that certainty that they need to feel like they're not booking plane tickets to Uncasville, Connecticut for no reason. And I root for the Sun anyways, because they're sort of local to me. I have nothing against the Aces. I really enjoy watching them play, but
sure.
I'm rooting for a Sun win tonight, and I'll say, even though the Sun usually typically win lower scoring games, I'll say something like 87-81. Give you some offense.
I will absolutely take that, and I love that. 12 hours into the job, your first like appearance on here, you're already just like all in on the community of like, what I really hope for is that the community members win. And
I mean, they get if they don't win this prize, they win an opening game prize. And I've joked about this before, but like, say you were a top 5 on the Sun leaderboard or whatever, and instead of well, let's use the Aces, because I think Las Vegas would be a destination of choice, right?
Oh, sure.
So, but perhaps their season opener isn't in Las Vegas; it's in Indianapolis or Uncasville, or it's and you're going there in May. It's not kind of the same vibe as WNBA Finals playoff, or Game 4. So, I'm really hoping that they get that experience, because I've been legit jealous of not only Jen's experience, but everything that happened with the Access Unlocked Minnesota Lynx experience. That to me, Sweet Sill would have been just mind blowing. It would have been. She looks like the just nicest, coolest person. So totally rooting for that.
So many good moments, like just video moments, and sort of like those group pictures from that Sill experience, and from the one in Seattle as well. So completely agree. I feel like just watching this, I feel like we got Connecticut's best chance to win a game in Game 1, and then they just couldn't do it. They talked about, I saw some spreadsheets on Twitter kind of floating around of sort of like when a team score when a team is in the WNBA finals and they score their lowest point total of the season, not only do they lose, but they lose by like 50 plus points. It happened to the Mercury last season. It happened to another team kind of before that. And Las Vegas still ended up winning. And they talk about just like all these sort of tipping point moments that Connecticut had, that they really couldn't put the ball in the basket or even really keep the ball in play for some moments. So part of me is really hoping that we can extend this series whenever possible, because I want more games. And as much as I'm ready to kind of like jump into like FIBA World Championships and do that kind of thing, I still want my W games. But I feel like Vegas is going to go up 2-0 by the end of the night, even though we're going to get a great effort from Connecticut. And I apologies to everyone on any leaderboard. I'm sorry. You can hang out with me and the other minnows on the Atlanta Dream leaderboard as we piece that together. But yeah, that's great. Thank you all for your kind of takeaways on that. Now let's jump into the other exciting part of the day. I am just so excited to hear from all of you about this game recognized game set. And let's see. Yeah, let's bring it up over here. So it sounds like you both got packs. Did you get multiple packs today? Jen, you probably got multiple packs from like airdrops and everything.
Yeah, I did the allow list yesterday,
Great.
and then did get both airdrops, and then I was able to secure one during the PQ, but I didn't get one in general. But so only had 4 to complete after that, which helped.
That's amazing.
So I mean, yeah, it's nice when it's only an 8-moment set. Much quicker to go after.
Absolutely. Jude, were you able to get packs today?
Yeah, so I like Jen, I got the allow list yesterday, definitely went for it. I was kind of looking for the AZ, the Lloyd, and I really was interested in the Sue Bird challenge reward, but I knew I would have to get all 8 to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled a Sylvia Fowles yesterday. I got a Lauren Jackson in my airdrop and thought, well, I'm two out of 8 of the way. Let's see if I hop in the queue, like what kind of luck I got. I pulled a jewel for my priority queue. So I was at 3 at that point, and I thought, I told myself I wasn't going to do this, but here goes nothing. And then just sat on the marketplace for probably the first hour, just kind of had a number in my head about where I thought each one should probably be pre-challenge, and would buy it as soon as that number hit or below. So it was funny to me, the Arike, which, obviously I was naturally attracted to as being a Notre Dame grad. She was probably the cheapest one right away. And I don't know that maybe she's kept the cheapest, but I was certainly glad to get her for lower than the pack price. Everybody else, I expected kind of the Stewart and the AZ because she'd be the bottleneck for the Las Vegas Aces all-time set. I figured she would command a higher value, so I was willing to put out a little bit more for her. But I wanted Ryan Howard, and I wasn't going to pay $245 for the MGLE one. So I was happy to have one for next season, because I really do believe those rares are going to have greater utility next season and because that was mentioned on one of the Dapper podcasts, was they really couldn't do vet challenges because they didn't have contemporary rares. And so now I've just wanted to hold contemporary rares because I think that they'll have great utility next season.
And that's super great point. I think really lost in just a lot of the anger or the whining or whatever you want to call it about over the last couple of weeks with sort of back-to-back rare drops is that really we're getting sort of a one format challenge in our current format. Like, it was really, you couldn't do the cheat codes as often. You couldn't do sort of the more challenging challenges. That was a great use of words by me.
We knew what you meant.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think even for myself, I was like, man, but if you think of the current players in this set, they're all in MGLE. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the problem, right? Like, if it was different current players that had more rares, great. Well, except the only difference is Jewel. I take that back.
Yeah.
But Arike, Stewie, Ryan, they were all in the last set. So that's why it's a little bit hard to be like, oh man, I know that's why a lot of people are mad about Ryan. And I was kind of surprised she was still as high as she was in MGLE, knowing this one was coming. And she's kind of been high even in this one that I was looking at. I think a lot, but I think that's attributed to her value on the court and as a player. And I think a lot of people saw her this season, are excited, and are like, okay, she's gonna go places. She's kind of worth it. So I listened to the commentary. Did you listen to the commentary? I know Sue's great. What I loved is, even though it's not about the specific play, they did a great job matching the play to how she's talking about the players. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, speaking of Arike, they were talking about, she's talking about, all of a sudden she has speed out of nowhere. And the play then all of a sudden sees her turning on the Jets. And, Jewel's shot about, Jewel looks like she's at a video game and it's some crazy shot against Phoenix. And so it's like, I think I do give Top Shot the kudos for matching plays to how she described each player. Even though she's not specifically describing the play. But it's very close. I think
Hold on. Are you telling me Sue Bird has great commentary on plays?
She didn't mumble through any of it?
Oh my gosh, it's so
you have not
wild.
listened to this? It is she's like smiling and like talking, like she's actually legit.
It's my hope for tonight to dig into that. Sorry, dude. Go ahead.
I don't think I felt any greater disappointment than when the KD packs came out with the commentary, and I listened to the first commentary and I thought, oh well, I guess he just wasn't excited about this one. Let me check out another one. I was like, oh no,
this is just
I mean, can you bring it up? Can you play the sound? Maybe we'll play one here so you can listen to it.
Maybe we will. And I'm sorry if I hurt feelings. But I think anyone who has existed in an NFT, NBA, Twitter, Discord, anywhere, I think it's fair to put some commentary in the whining category. Myself included.
Don't get me wrong. I was not happy either. I don't know if I flat out whined externally, but I was whining internally. So
yeah, if you're gonna whine, you can own it. I whine. It's totally fine. Let's see. All right, let's see if I can get sound share on here. I know
you gotta like blow it up.
Yep. You got to do this part. Can y'all hear? Okay. I may have to stop, pop us out just a second, and we'll bring back with the little share button hit on. And it's not like I've done this a ton of times. Oh, thank you, Garen. Also, no. No, sound was it's not there for that. All right, we're going to share system audio. We're going to pop back in and welcome back. Here we go. Oh, wait, you still can hear that? No, I shared the audio and everything. Ah, bummer. Well, you guys could have like stopped me at any point to say, Kevin,
I thought it was maybe just
that's fine. We'll have to go on, but like I feel like we've made it in a lot of ways. We have Steve Baller's blockchain in here, and then we have bots. We have bots showing up to chat. This is
I feel like you make it when you've got bots. I don't know. Is that not true?
I know. This is a big day for Watcher Work. I'm thrilled.
So here's one point I wanted to make about the GRG set. I was very concerned that if I didn't finish this set myself, that the Sue Bird challenge reward would become impossible to attain. Mm-hmm. And the reason I thought about that is that I feel like the most crazy, insane, rabid W collectors are Seattle Storm collectors. If you look at their leaderboard, they are mega people and they stack.
Yep.
And I would include Jen in this list.
So, I was like trying to like hide.
So I was worried that if it shook out to like 200, that like C Dots would own like 85 of them or whatever. So I just thought, you know what? I want the certainty of knowing. I know the prices are going to drop after the challenge. That's what always happens. But I just wanted to have that peace of mind that I got a Sue Bird challenge reward too. And, you know, I didn't have any serial number luck today. I didn't get any like great numbers or jerseys or any crazy things like that. But that's okay. That's okay. Oh. I like having a complete set, and I think it will have great utility. And, you know, I probably overpaid, but I'm going to have that challenge reward, which is going to be super
I just think of it as more TSS at this point.
That's right. I'm racking up that TSS.
More TSS.
Watch out. More leaderboard. Here I come. No, I mean, to keep above 150 on the Storm leaderboard is a challenge for me. And you know,
for sure. I feel just lucky to be in the ballpark on any of them. Like I'm fighting right around that 150 on the Chicago Sky. And I feel like there's no way I'm hanging on to this just because what the Chicago Sky fan base has become in the last like 2 years is it's going to continue to just like grow astronomically. So you mentioned kind of what had happened with the kind of that MGLE set and just kind of what happens to sets as they change. And, you know, I really want to just sort of like talk about this kind of in kind of just in like a non-judgmental kind of way, and just sort of look at it as these are just kind of things that are that are what they are. And you just sort of see like kind of within that day after challenges kind of end, that the MGLE set for the WNBA kind of took this humongous hit. And these are things that happen. And we can kind of look at it as neither good nor bad. It creates opportunities. I think it may continue to kind of trickle down as the other set is out there. And, eventually once we get kind of the In Her Bag set, those other two sets may trickle down. But I will also, kind of pair that with, I was able to finish the best of set last November after prices started to trickle down postseason. And my plan for this offseason is to, start to pick up and chip away at more of that metallic gold set to be able to have that eventually by the next time that season rolls around. And, what it took me, it may be some financial short-term pain to, purchase that Asia Wilson when it was still, in that maybe like 125, 150 kind of range. It is more than paid off and what it is meant to have that set finished by the time this 2022 season rolled around. So I think what you're saying, Jude, just about having that set done, for the satisfaction, for it being a very cool set, and just kind of having that in your collection. I think there's still value in that, whatever sort of market things happen that are kind of largely outside of our control. Is there anything else that you all had that you wanted to share maybe on just on that set, and maybe looking forward for the rest of what Dapper is doing for this season, whether that's challenges or the In Her Bag set?
I'm excited to see. I mean, I know we mentioned leaderboards. I know it's hard, but I do hope that it does become something more. I mean, obviously that's what, it was the top 5. And I get that to reward, like you got to balance the top and the bottom and the random all at the same time on that. But I feel like they have to do the same thing on the men's side as well. So I'm interested to see how the leaderboards, and I know they've also kind of hinted at player ones too, and how that shakes out. Cause I know it's hard to say I'm going to lock a moment for a year and you have no idea what's going to happen a year from now in terms of the market and things like that. And you mentioned things falling in the off season, and there's like the pros and cons, right? Like, oh, good, people can finally complete the set. That's great. We're owners. And the same time, you're like, for those that you're like, oh man, the value goes down, right? Like, are people just dumping because they want the money for the men's side of things? So it's kind of balancing those two. And I know that's going to happen again because it's such a long off season for the W.
It is a hugely long off season. And I think what we talk about was sort of the market, like finishing Shining Stars off today. That's about the number that I have left to finish. And I have about something like $30 left to finish the season 4 base set. And I just need to grit and put in the work to actually click buy on moments to do that. But then Smokey follows that up with like, thanks all day. And that's like, there's going to be all these other things that are going to happen outside of the Top Shot universe, whether that's all day, whether that's whatever other projects come up. So to be able to kind of do what we on Team Hold called like the collect what you love. I need to find that drop because it's not me saying it. It's Mike. It's not the financial advice. It's the collecting what you love, doing what you love. And I'm just trying to talk as I find this video. And of course, we have 50 videos along the side here that I am not going to do it. Here we go. We're going to do it.
None of this is financial advice. Do what you love what you do. Something like that, right?
Right. It's just we're here to collect what we love. One of the things that we love is the WNBA base set, that's best of set, and I think we're really hyped with where this part of it is going to go. So I'm glad that we're all out here able to really talk about that whole world that we're living in, that doing what we love. One more time before game starts. We have about 10 minutes before game 2 tips off. I know that we don't have everyone on the stream who has put Sun and 3+1 in the chat. So one more chance to do that. Jude and Jen, could y'all just talk about again, plug the spaces that you're doing, plug the Twitter account that you created, everything else that you have going on for this new venture of yours?
Yeah, so we created a Twitter account. It's WNBA Best of 2021. We are holding a Spaces Thursday night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, so a half hour before game 3, just to kind of get your all feedback and set expectations and start getting ideas to plan our roadmap as we go into the off season and into the 23 season. We are still just as fresh with all of this as everything else. And so we're doing our best as we go along, trying to figure out, again, what we can and can't do. But we are excited. I know I am. I'm excited for what's to come. Can't make any promises, but I am excited that I think, like you said, I think this is the opportunity to really rise all ships and pull the community truly together behind something. I think, there's been the W overall, but having one set and just kind of that force to grow the W for sure.
For sure.
And if you're in the Discord, we really encourage you, if you are a Best of 2021 set holder, to go back to Collab Land and re-verify your assets, because you'll be given a new tag and access to a new channel, which is called predictably WNBA Best of 2021. So we're going to be having chats in there that are exclusive to set holders, and I think one of the things that Jen and I would like to do is to build engagement in there, is to not only have a great discussion, but also maybe do some giveaways. So we were talking tonight about things we'd like to see in terms of giveaways in terms of moments. And so we're hoping to figure out how to do that. And once we figure out how to do that, then somebody will be a beneficiary of our learning. So it really truly is a learning process. Again, the other thing I want to emphasize, and we said it before, and we'll say it a million times, we are volunteers here. We're not dapper employees. We're not getting compensated. So we are doing this out of the love for the W and for, collecting a Top Shot and W moments on Top Shot. So we do see ourselves as a conduit to the full-time employees, and we can bring ideas to them and be their eyes and ears, but we can't guarantee outcomes. So we will absolutely advocate for all good ideas. But we can't, unfortunately, can't guarantee results.
So think about that before you show up to the spaces with your, what are you going to do with the Angel Wilsons that are still in the packs question on spaces? Just hold it, put a pin in it. That's not the time or place for that. While we still, there's a couple comments that I missed. Mac Attack, had a question about if you, speaking of being a conduit to Dapper employees, do you have any insights or thoughts or things about something like moment ranks or kind of that gamification of W moments for next season?
I feel like moment ranks is its own team.
Yeah.
I would love for them to do it. Don't get me wrong. I know things got asked. I think that's their capacity. I feel like I know who I could talk to about trying to push it, but I don't know what their priority list is.
I mean, we certainly can raise the question. I don't think any ideas off the table. But in terms of had we have specific discussions about moment ranks, no, we haven't. So
not yet, at least.
Yeah. And I think this I am in that sentiment as well. Find ways to engage with W moments year round. And, in essence, that's part of why y'all are here. And I think that's also part of why this announcement is happening, because there's going to be ways to engage kind of year round leading into the next season. And that's really what we're hyped about. And I would be remiss if I did not shout out, we have an actually Jeb Bush sighting. Oh my gosh. The man in the bear suit from the show. That's amazing. Welcome, Jeff. All right. Yeah. And I was going to say moment ranks can't even do moment ranks kind of at the moment. Like they are really at capacity, but it would be any kind of way to kind of game that around would be cool.
And I think probably one for moment ranks too, kind of like I was talking with MGLE. I think having more moments and more players, like especially this year. I mean, now that you've got 61, well, I mean, I don't think it's full. You take the 2 base sets and you probably have got 80 players combined now.
Mhm.
I mean, that covers, you're definitely covering more than half now of the W, even just base moments. I think before it was really hard. You didn't have enough actual players to kind of set lineups. I think now that you got 2 seasons in, you got a good solid variety. I think that will help, but I don't know what it takes on the moment rank side to kind of build that out. So.
It's work that I cannot comprehend, so I should not be the person banging the drum for this because I don't want to put that in someone else's lap. And this is what y'all should really jump on.
Oh, I know. I want a Steph Dolson one so bad.
Okay, first of all,
and a Steph Talbot. The Stephs deserve
oh my gosh,
it. I don't know why any Steph does not have a moment right now.
Yeah.
Mitch knows. He knows we've been in there banging that drum every day.
I'm right there with you, dude.
Win Dolson TSD, man. Big Mama Steph needs her time.
If we can get one request for that, it needs to be.
I would love it if they created
Steph
a whole
moment.
new category of just screens, and you just had a big Mama Steph screen. That's her moment right there. It's just a big Mama Steph screen.
Oh my! I would play every screen in on Top Shot and Moment Ranks or whatever can come out of that. Like if the NBA can track screen assists, then that needs to be a category in our DFS. That was my jam in high school basketball. We'd love to set like the big bruising screens. Like that's speaking my language, Jen. I'm all about that. All right. So I hope folks in here have added Sun and 3+1 in the chat. I hope you have liked the stream. I hope you have followed Team Hold. And I hope as we spin for this, you all give tons of love to Jen and Jude for giving their time tonight on what's been probably a very hectic and draining day. And I'm so appreciative of every one of you who've been able to show up this evening. And who do we have tonight? Owen. Oh. Owen, I don't know if I have your Top Shot username, so you're going to have to post it in the chat or send it to me on DM on the Discord. So let me know. Let me know what that is.
Prize tonight was a special 1-of-1 Steph Dolson TSD, I believe, right? Isn't that what you're
yeah, a screen assist Steph Dolson TSD. No, I am a complete aloof dude and forgot to bring up. Hey, we were giving away DeWanna Bonner AK moment to commemorate Game 2 of the finals. So congrats, Owen. DM me with whatever your TS name is on there. Jen, Jude, thank you so much for this evening. I really had a ton of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's try to make everyone on every team's leaderboard happy and just give us all more games, and we'll hopefully this series will go to 5 and everyone on a leaderboard can have something good happen to them in the meantime. Deep Threat's already calling it. Plum goes for 30 tonight. I don't think we're going to get back-to-back nights where Plum goes over through 3 quarters. So I think that's a good bet. So
I may have bet the under on her points total tonight. So hope she does not go for 30. I mean, I actually really like Kelsey Plum, so I hope she does. But I will
sure.
On that
sure. I think she's had a tough playoffs so far. So I think that's
Look,
a
she's a
pretty
great player who didn't go to UConn. I'm all for it, right?
Scoring NCAA scoring leader right there.
Right.
Right. Oh my gosh. We already have like an East and West thing happening with UW and Notre Dame going on. So that's perfect for me. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. Check out everything that the Best of 2021 group is going to put out there. Make sure to check out their spaces on Thursday night.
Yep.
Thursday night. And I look forward to talking to you all again sometime.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you
all
soon.
right. See you, everybody. We out.